Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later on, our infamous roundtable gets together. I don't know what they're going to say, but we'll see, so stay tuned for that. But between now and then, some great guests and important information coming your way. We'll tell you about walking in the mall and staying healthy, and it's a great program that is underwritten by Ridge Care, and we'll talk about that. We'll also meet with some folks from Inmar, our good friends who are going to help us celebrate women in a very appropriate month, and you'll meet some youth grant makers, all that and much more. But first, we turn our attention to the River Run Film Festival, the International Festival. And I'm going to say as a caveat here that Rob was supposed to be here, Rob Davis was supposed to be here, but he broke his hand. He's in surgery, and so we wish him well. But in his stead is somebody that was here a couple years ago for this same purpose, and we welcome her back. On my right, Mary Dosinger is here. She's Director of Programming for River Run International Film Festival, and welcome back after a couple years.
Thank you so much for having me.
You didn't make him fall so you could come here, did you?
I didn't.
No, okay. I just want to clear that up before you. All right, now this is a landmark year for River Run. Why?
It's our 20th anniversary, and we're really excited about celebrating 20 years of bringing films and filmmakers to the Triad.
Sounds like just yesterday that it started up. This is great. Now, how many films were submitted this year, and how many will you be showing?
This year we again broke records, had almost 300 more than last year. It was over 2,000 total films submitted to us this year.
Wow.
Which was a lot of hard work for myself and my fellow programmers.
So you had to weed through 2,000 films, and because it's very prestigious to be chosen to have your film shown. So I mean, how many did you weed it down to that you're going to actually show?
So we're actually showing 165 films this year from over 40 countries.
Okay, and we'll tell the dates of the festival in just a minute, because it's not just one day, so don't everybody panic. It's several days. Hey, this is a good point to just take a quick look at this, just a 30 seconds or so of film clip. This one's called Leave No Trace. It's a dramatic film. Here's a scene.
Don't move. Anything on you that's gonna hurt me? Just the knives. Where were you running? Huh? You alone out here? My daughters are with me. Tom, come out! Tom, come out! Stand up. Come on.
Dad?
Hold on there. Cooperate. We haven't done anything wrong. Cooperate. We don't know who you are, what's going on. Let's go.
Dad!
Great clip, and a lot of great films coming there. Is admission charged to go to the festival, and are there any free films?
We do have an entire free family day where we show a number of different things that are appropriate for our younger audiences.
Right.
We also have a number of free panels as well. So all of that information is on our website.
Sure, and now you have, give a quick plug, a couple of special guests, the Masters.
We have 2 Masters of Cinema this year, which are very exciting. Our first guest will be Piper Laurie, who many people know, an amazing actress, and we'll be showing a film print of The Hustler.
Wow.
And she will be here to talk about making that film and her entire amazing career.
Yeah.
And on the second weekend, we have Chuck Workman, who's a fantastic film editor.
Oh.
And we're showing his documentary, What is Cinema, and also one of his short films called Precious Images on 35 millimeter as well.
He's great. I'm going to, before time runs out, let me put this up. Information, 20th anniversary River Run International Film Festival, April 19th through the 29th. Lots of venues and lots of films, so you need to go to the website, riverrunfilm.com. And I want to do a shout out thanks to Rich and Marquita at Visit Winston-Salem for suggesting this topic for us. Visit winstonsalem.com is the topic there. And Mary, this just sounds like a great lineup, and thanks for doing this.
We're excited, thanks.
Right.
I hope everybody can make it.
All right, we're going to try. All right, we'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today. There's just a wonderful program going on that our good folks at Ridge Care are involved with, and we're going to tell you all about it right now. On my right, the The very lovely Angie Bailey is Area Director of Community Relations for Ridge Care, and welcome to the program, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Now, Ridge Care is involved with a mall walking program, so I'm going to fire 2 or 3 questions at you and let you sort of educate me about it. I want to know the name of it and why it was started and what's the purpose.
It is the Heart and Souls.
SOLE.
Yes,
right?
definitely. It started because the group that was over it left, and Haynes Mall was looking for a new sponsor, and so Ridge Care took it over.
Isn't that great? Yeah, because I know it'd been going for a while, and then sometimes there was a corporate sponsor, somebody lost interest, you guys picked it up, which I think is great. But I know it means a lot to you because in terms of keeping people healthy, keeping them active, and what are the perks afforded to the folks that join this mall walker program?
Well, they receive a shirt and a pedometer. They're allowed to come before the mall opens, and that way they can walk in groups.
Where it's quiet, there's nobody around.
Right, there's not a lot of people out shopping and having to deal with bags. There's a gentleman who likes to run on the escalators, and so they don't start those up until 10, and so he's able to do that.
So they get there before the mall opens. And how many walkers do you have involved in the program?
A little over 350.
Get out of here.
We have 50 regulars.
Now, do you have to, I can get to this later, I was just curious, I guess you have to register or something to do, how is this going to work?
Well, they know that we're there. It's publicized, throughout the mall on several different signs.
Right.
And they come and they fill out a little form, and then every Monday they check in and give us their mileage.
Now, this may seem like a stupid question, is there an age limit on who can join and walk? I mean, how young can you be? How old do you need to be? What?
We have them all ages.
Really?
Especially in the summer. Even grandchildren can participate, and then I think we have one that's 94.
Really?
And she drives herself out. Yeah.
How about that? So you could even have it where there's a grandfather walking with a granddaughter or something. Now, what kind of feedback are you hearing? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but what kind of feedback in general are you hearing from folks that do the walking in terms of how they feel and what it means to them? What are you hearing?
Well, we have a lot of people who start walking because of health problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, and things like that. And it's really nice to be able to see them lose weight and get healthier. We have a nurse there every Monday that checks blood pressure.
That's great.
Through Kindred at Home, and they keep a record of it. And so,
and that goes right in line with the fact of the quality care that you folks at Ridge Care give as far as senior living and opportunities. It's very consistent with that whole theme of really letting people do the best they can, and the walking and staying healthy is part of that. Does it cost? Let me ask this: does it cost anything, or is there a monthly fee or something to join this?
No, it's absolutely free, and we also give you coffee and muffins.
Coffee? Well, I might just come there and just walk around while I'm drinking the coffee. Now, I'm going to put the Ridge Care website up on screen. As I do that, ridgecare.com, remind us again, Angie, what hours it would be so that people can sort of plan out and think about when they might do it.
We're there every Monday from 9 to 10:30 a.m.
Okay, and the nurse comes once a week, you said, right?
They come every Monday with us.
Every Monday. I just think that's great. Angie, thanks for all you do with this.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, you take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll be right back after this. What you just saw was a lovely montage of some photographs taken on International Women's Day that happened earlier in the month. And that leads us to a very important topic of celebrating women in general and women of all ages. With me now, two very special guests. On my right, Sharon Joyner-Payne is Executive Vice President of Corporate Communications and Great Teams for Inmar. Next to her, the boss man, who's here with us pretty regular basis. Always glad to have him here. David Mounts, Chairman, CEO of Inmar. Welcome back, folks.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
David, as we near the end of Women's History Month, tell me why the celebration of women is so important to Inmar.
Well, we've got to celebrate all these women that have gone before us to make impacts really in every area of our society. They've advanced us in so many ways, and we just think it's important to take time to recognize that and to put those examples out there so that other women can build confidence from them and move forward for tomorrow's advancements.
Absolutely, and Sharon, Inmar has actively, and I know this from having David on the show and also you on the show before too, that Inmar has actively supported the advancement of women for a long, long time. This is not some jump on the bandwagon thing.
That's right. It's important to us because we really understand the value of diversity of thought, because when you have diversity of thought, what that does is it actually makes you a stronger company, helps you be more competitive in the marketplace, as well as helps you build high-performing teams. And it's really more than just diversity, because that's a seat at the table, but it's about inclusion, which is having a voice at the table that's appreciated and heard and actually leveraged for the differences of thought that it brings to the team.
Yeah, and I know that you've had a lot of groups come through, and I'll get on this with David in just a second, but when you were here before, we talked about, and not to embarrass you, but you're sort of a role model too to some of the women, young women and girls that have come through and done different programs and tours and things through the building, and that must make you feel pretty good that you think you're making a difference to try to bring these girls through.
Well, I hope I'm making a difference, but it's all about our team. We have a great women's group, the Empowering Women's Group, which really focuses on trying to find those leaders of tomorrow by helping instill the confidence and helping them understand what's available in the STEM programs and giving them that confidence and telling them that they can do the things that maybe they thought they couldn't.
Oh, I just think that's a great sentiment. David, I know that we've talked about in the past things like the girls robotics team
Yes.
and some other things that you've done. Sort of recap for us that, and then that leads us into where you're going from here.
Well, we're very interested in helping develop women in our community in a number of areas. One, of course, is we talked about is the youth. Girls on Fire, Awesome Analytics, Math Matters are all programs at Inmar designed to inspire women at those critical decision-making years to advance in the areas of STEAM. And so we're very excited about the progress we're making in those areas. We also spend a lot of time developing our current women in our company that are associates through the Empowering Women program, great leaders like Sharon. We have lots of learning sessions, we have mentoring sessions. I personally mentor our high potential leaders that I think are going to be the future leaders and have the potential to be at the highest levels of Inmar. We develop women in our community through outreach. We've been involved in some tough areas too, like the Battered Women's Shelter, and our Empowering Women groups are so active in making an impact in those types of areas of the community. We think those are very important. So that's the three-prong approach.
Yeah.
You know, the youth, the women leaders at Inmar, and then in the community outreach. And we think that these things together result in the advancements of a community
Absolutely.
that is stronger because of all the things that Sharon said, that diversity of thought. And let me tell you, when I get a tough decision and I'm really not sure what to do, she's the first person I go to.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it, because I don't want to brag on her too much because she'll get embarrassed. But I do want to thank you for all you're doing with that. And of course, it's good for the company because especially some of the young girls you're working with, they could end up working for you. So there's some recruiting now
Yes,
to that
absolutely.
right there. On screen is website inmar.com, and I hope you'll check that out. Very important to learn all about Inmar and what it does for everybody in the community. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, Jen.
having us. We
All right.
appreciate it.
We'll be right back. Back now on Triad Today, and I have two very young, vibrant guests that I want you to meet, and they're doing some great things for the community. Let's meet them right now. On my right, Ashanti Williams is a senior at Forsyth Middle College. Next to her is Jose Oliva. He's a first-year fellow with the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation. Welcome, both of you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Now, Jose, let's start with you and tell us about the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation's partnership with the Winston-Salem Foundation and Youth Grant Makers in Action. Sort of wrap that for me and tell me what it is.
Yeah, thank you for having us here today. As you know, in June of 2017, the foundation provided an update regarding our emerging direction and the strategies that we will use moving forward. You might remember that we mentioned that we're going to be working at the state level, at the community-based level, and we also are going to have an exploratory and visionary ideas strategies. The trustees also committed to using a racial equity lens throughout our work, as well being a learning organization. And lastly, the trustees committed to augmenting our presence in Winston-Salem, which is our hometown.
Sure. And when you make these grants, though, and it's called the Youth Grant Makers in Action, what is that exactly then?
Yeah, so we partner with the Winston-Salem Foundation that has the Youth Grant Makers in Action that fund youth-led programs in Winston-Salem. And Ashanti will share a little bit more about it, but it's a great opportunity for us to work with young leaders in the community that are doing great and positive work in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County.
All right, now Ashanti, I have a question for you. Before that, clear up something for me in case people don't understand. When I introduced you as a senior at Forsyth Middle College, what's Forsyth Middle College?
Well, basically, Forsyth Middle College is a high school for juniors and seniors, and it gives us an alternative way to get our education, because we're allowed to take college classes at Forsyth Tech while still taking our high school classes and getting our high school diploma.
And that really gives you a leg up, and it can save money in the long run too, and
Yes,
give you a lot of
definitely.
experience. Now, speaking of experience, let's go back to the Grant Makers in Action. Why did you get involved with this, and what's been your experience with the program?
Well, I really just wanted to branch out with the clubs that I was doing, and I knew that this would be a good way to meet different people around the county. And so basically, it's really just shaped my perspective of life in a different way, because it's helped me to communicate my ideas and opinions effectively with other students around the county while still being able to listen to them and understand what they're saying as well.
Yeah, listening is important. Now, what is the, give me an example of a favorite program maybe you've been involved with in terms of grant making.
I really enjoy granting money to the Theta Awards, because it is a group in Winston-Salem that really highlights theater arts in the county, and they also provide scholarships for musical programs as well.
And there's a lot of money that, that's available for these kind of grants, but I want people to understand for sure, Ashanti, that you and your cohorts are actually making the decisions on where this grant money's going, right?
Yes.
Does that make you a little nervous sometimes?
It can be a lot of pressure, because a lot of people do apply this year. We had a record-breaking year of 13 applications, and so everybody's looking for money, but we do have a set amount.
I am too. I mean,
Yeah, we do have a set amount of $7,000 to give out this year, but
how much again?
$7,000.
Yeah, and so you're in control of that now.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, Jose, why is this such an important initiative for the foundation?
Yeah, at the Sismi Reynolds Foundation, we thought this was an important program. The Youth Grant Makers in Action bring a diverse cohort of young leaders in the community that are really invested in learning about not just the needs in the community, but also the opportunities that exist there. And they're, of course, committed to investing in young programs leaded by young people.
Really
which is very exciting.
teaching leadership too. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Up on screen, WinstonSalemFoundation.org. It's called a WS Foundation for our radio listening audience. www.wsfoundation.org/YGA, which stands for Youth Grant Makers in Action. And then also go to ZSR.org for the Smith Reynolds, Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation. What do you want to do after you graduate?
So my plans are to attend North Carolina A&T State University and probably major in nutrition for pre-med, so that I can go on to medical school to become an orthopedic surgeon.
Can you help me with my nutrition?
Don't
answer
not
that.
yet.
Don't answer that. All right, thanks for doing this, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be right back after this. On Triad Today, time for the famous roundtable and our famous panelists. Let's get right to them. On my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, that great broadcaster journalist who, by the way, I think signed a non-disclosure agreement with a Playboy bunny or something years ago.
I'm telling all.
And then of course we have the lovely and talented attorney, CEO, president, all this stuff of Dudley Beauty Products, Ursula Dudley Oglesby, and next to her is the beautiful Now still recovering Keith Granberry, who was in his sick bed last week and missed the show. But we talked about you. Did you watch the show?
I did not.
Oh, well.
But I'll
Last time
you're going to send me a copy, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention you again.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Okay, last week we did mention that Greensboro Mayor Nancy Vaughn wants to keep gun shows out of the Coliseum, but now we learned that she cannot because City Council had given the Coliseum Director Matt Brown full authority over leasing the facility. Okay, guys and gals, should that local ordinance be changed so that the City Council can override Brown? Because after all, he works for the city. Ogie.
You know, I thought about that when we were talking about it, Jim, but the more I think about it, and I applaud Nancy for taking that step, symbolic though it was, but really Matt should have that. I think if you start politicizing it, you just opening up a can of worms that anybody on council could say, well, I don't like this rap show,
Right.
or I don't like this Deadhead show,
Yeah.
or whatever.
All right,
Let's
Ursula.
don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think since he does work for the city, I think he has a good amount of knowledge as to an expertise to make a good judgment one way or the other.
Mr. Granberry.
Well, I think he does, but I mean, he works for the city, so he has boss. And
Yeah.
so there has to be some accountability to that, even though I think that canceling the gun show is a bit extreme.
Yeah, but he really doesn't. It's almost like he doesn't report to anybody, kind of.
He really doesn't.
All right, despite the Florida school massacre, speaking of guns, Ruger Gun Company says it will still keep making assault-style rifles. You might say, well, Jim, what do I care about that? Ruger, well, here it goes. Now, I'm going to ask the panel, are you guys and gals okay with that decision to keep making guns by Ruger, given that Ruger employs over 300 people in Mayodan, just down the road? Or would you like to see the rifles banned, which might cause those local folks to lose their jobs? Ogie.
Well, you always hate to see people lose their jobs, Jim, but I mean, the assault weapons have got to go. They still can make them and carry for military purposes. There's not going to be any real job loss. That's a straw boss, lame NRA argument.
Ursula.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think we'd have to look at the percentage of assault rifles that are sold to non-military functions. I think they'll be okay. We don't want people to lose their jobs, but I'd rather, if I had to choose, unfortunately, I'd rather somebody lose their job in one instance to save a life in another.
All right, Keith.
I don't think assault weapons should be used by common people. And if you're making assault weapons for use in common people, they shouldn't be employed anyway. They should be making this for military individual or governments all around the world.
Absolutely.
And that shouldn't be losing their job. They shouldn't lose their job over that.
There are 3 Arkansas high school students who did the national walkout against gun violence, and when they came back into classroom, they were given a choice of either being paddled or suspended. They took the paddling. I'm wondering, is the school going to get sued, and should corporal punishment still be used anyway? Ogie.
I wonder if they will. I'll be looking at that to see if they do so. You know, I haven't been in favor of corporal punishment for a long time. I don't know. Why would you want to punish them anyway? That's really
For
the
walking
bottom
out,
line.
Ursula.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that, but corporal punishment should never be in the schools, not in this day and age.
Keith.
They will get sued, but you know, I think corporal punishment should be left at home to parents when the kids are growing up, so they won't act crazy. But they're
Right.
definitely going to get sued.
All right, now, a Forsyth County parent who claims a teacher assaulted her child at school, we won't get into the case, but here's the question. She's calling for cameras to be installed in every classroom, just as a precaution. Good idea or bad idea? Ogie.
I don't like it. There are too many. We've waived our right to privacy. Pretty much everything we're doing now is documented somewhere. There's no right to privacy left.
Ursula.
If the cameras in the classrooms would stop the killings, that would be one thing, but they won't. I think we need to focus on the students having some books.
Yeah. Keith.
I think there should be cameras in the classroom. I think that
You have cameras all over your house, don't you? Keith's got a camera in his shower.
I think there's something to be said about that, and specifically around issues. But I think there definitely should be cameras in the classroom. I think
All right,
there should
real
be.
quickly, Elon University poll says only 17% of North Carolina voters know who their state senator is. Only 48% know who the congressman is. Very quickly, guys and gals, when it comes to this year's elections, do you think voter ignorance is a bigger threat than Russian hacking? Ogie.
I have to look. Yeah, they're both problems. I have to look what we can control, and I think like Keith and I are involved in voter ignorance and voter apathy.
Right.
If we can do something about the voter ignorance.
Ursula.
I agree. I think the Russian hacking is definitely a major issue, but voter ignorance is much bigger.
Keith.
I think misinformation is an issue, but I think getting people actively involved in local elections is a bigger issue. And why we aren't involved in local elections, I'll never know, because it can change the way people's lives
Changes
are.
everything.
Changes
Especially
everything.
these state legislative
Yeah,
races. and
absolutely,
whatever.
yes.
All right, finally, guys and gals, a Florida company has made a sports car entirely out of 100 pounds of hemp, of course, which is related to other things. So would you drive a car made out of hemp or marijuana, that kind of thing, Ogie? Would you drive a marijuana car, for example?
Well, first of all, hemp is not marijuana.
Well, you could smoke hemp.
You could smoke the whole car and not get a buzz off of it's hemp. But if they're saying 100 pounds, that seems kind of lightweight, unsafe to me. I don't know.
Ursula, make some sense out of this.
Absolutely not. I love my brain cells. No,
Yeah.
no way.
You're going to stay away from the hemp car? Keith?
Absolutely.
I would like to sell hemp cars in Colorado and California. How about that? I would like to sell
All
them.
right. So that's all the time we have.
For medical purposes, of course.
For medical purposes. Yeah, that's right. That's all the time we have, except for this. A Brazilian man has spent $700,000 in surgeries to look like a Ken doll, including last week when he had 3 ribs removed. Said Barbie, ribs aren't the only thing he's missing. What does that mean, Ogie?
Oh, too much.
Come on.
All of us here on Triad Today. We'll see you next week.